Hello, X Files, and welcome back to the X Files Chat Room podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Jessica, and as always, I am here with my bestest X File, Dini. What's up, Dini?
What's up, Jessica? What's up, everybody? How's it going? How you doing?
I'm doing great.
What's
I'm
the
really
word?
excited about this part two that we're about to get into. The best half of Fight the Future, if you ask me.
Agree, agree. It's gonna be fun, and I'm interested to see what you got to say. What your picks are.
Yeah, absolutely. So, listeners, this is part two of our Fight the Future recap. If you want to head over back, the previous episode is Fight the Future part one. Really interesting stuff going on there. But this one's a little bit different. We're going to just jump right in since we did the info block in that one. And we'll just get started with our top five, Dini. Do you know who
Yeah,
goes
let's do it.
first?
I don't actually. Why don't you go first?
Okay, I can go first. All right. All right, so this is Cinco de los Files. This is top five from the files. This is where we go over our top five moments of Fight the Future. I cannot wait. All right, we're going to start off with my number five. My number five, Dini, is the cornfield chase.
Okay, that is higher on. Well, actually, no. Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
It's not on your list?
The first part of it is, but not the actual cornfield chase. It's the B, them escaping the facility part.
Oh, yeah,
Did you
totally
cover that
different.
whole thing?
Totally different. No, covering
Okay.
the
Okay.
cornfield chase.
Okay.
So,
All right.
all right, here we go. So, first of all, the scene of them in the car chasing the train, the visual of the two white domes, having them walk through the corn, the quiet and loudness inside the dome, the bees, all of it was very suspenseful and it sets up for this iconic scene. So I know I said I didn't cover it. That was not me covering it. That was just me saying like all of that encapsulates kind of like going into this cornfield chase scene is just it's leading up to this. So I can't wait till you properly explore that scene in general. But let's get on with the
All right.
cornfield. So
Okay.
all right, so our duo is standing outside the two Jiffy Pop poppers, and over the horizon they see lights. We're thinking it's aliens, right? But
Yeah, for
nope,
sure.
the lights are two black helicopters flying above with spotlights on the ground. Mulder and Scully race into the corn. The chase is on. Mark Snow and his amazing score here really intensifies the severity here. We've got the agents running their asses off, the spotlight shining on them, but kind of not really. And then Scully stops and it gets like she gets close to almost getting caught, right? Like the spotlight's on her, but the corn's kind of going
Yes.
this way and that way. Mulder stops and hunkers down too. And in the middle of all of that, he loses her. He's yelling for her. She eventually starts yelling for him as well. They're trying to find each other in these fields, and helicopters are still hovering above. And we get the classic Scully!
Hooray!
Scully! I guess the helicopters kind of got bored and they just leave and they both make it out of the cornfield. The look on his face, on Mulder's face, as he lays eyes on her, I mean, it is perfection. So the duo are okay. They make their way back to the car. So the reason I picked this is because this scene is spectacular. Like, what's eerier than random structures in the middle of nowhere next to crops and
True.
crops of corn? That's really
Mhm.
scary. The helicopters, the chase, it was shot beautifully. Kudos to Rob Bowman here, still with the side eye from me though. Um,
Yeah.
the way you really felt them losing each other in the field, but then and then, them almost getting caught. The lighting, the editing mixed in with the great Mark Snow, you're really thinking that this might be it for the agents. They might just get caught this time. And what's going to happen then? Luckily, they don't. But in this moment, your heart really races for these two. And that iconic look that Mulder gives her, like, this man is so afraid to lose her again. He really is.
Totally.
And, like,
Totally.
interesting because, like, fast forward to Requiem, right? I think we were always worried about losing Scully again as well, so much to the fact that we didn't see that Mulder was gonna be the one abducted there, you
Right.
know?
Right.
But
That she
eh
would have to face that. Yes.
no, that he would have to face that. Mulder's the
Well,
one that
which
got
well,
abducted.
what I meant was that she would have to face losing him rather
Oh.
than yeah,
Right.
the other
Yeah,
way
no,
around.
but I'm
Yeah.
talking about who's getting abducted here. So,
Right. Right.
who's getting taken, we're always worried about Scully because of what has happened previously. And then, yeah, like I said, in Requiem, we just didn't really see it coming with Mulder. But back to the film, 10 out of 10 chase scene. I thought that this was absolutely amazing. It was beautifully shot, and David and Jillian, they're just gold in this movie, and I really love, like, the behind the scenes aspect of this when Jillian's talking about running behind David and she's getting all the corn slapped in her face,
Yes,
and
is he getting hit by the corn?
I think that's when I, like, genuinely, like, totally fell in love with Gillian Anderson, just seeing how bubbly she is, that is, like, kind of opposite of Scully. I'll just always remember her little giggle every time I see this cornfield scene, but yep, that was my number 5, Dee.
Nice. And when you first saw this movie and that scene where Mulder sees her for the first time, after this chase, didn't it look like he was gonna, like, run towards her and, like, hug her? Like, there was, like, this moment of, "Oh my god, what's he gonna do?" Because he looks so relieved, and he kinda makes his face like, "Oh, there you are," and then, like, they're running towards each other. I'm
Yeah,
like, "Oh my god, are they gonna kiss? Are they gonna hug?"
totally, that's what it kinda looks like. It's like, "Oh," but
Yes.
I'm okay with it.
Oh, yeah,
The
no.
look alone is totally fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Good pick. Alright, so my number 5 is Mulder wakes up to the lone gunman.
Okay, that one didn't make my list.
Okay, so we're a little over about an hour and 15 minutes into the movie, and things have taken a very serious turn at this point. There's a lot of things happening, and Mulder gets shot. And so he wakes up in the hospital bed to the sound of people talking, fussing around. And when he opens his eyes, he sees the lone gunman, Langley, Frohike, and Byers. They're hovering over him. And his reaction is, oh God, like the sarcastic delivery of it. And he says, Carly Lion, Scarecrow, Toto. And they go on to explain, basically what happened to him. He got shot, the bullet grazed his brow and bounced off his temporal plate. And just a few centimeters closer, and Mulder would have been killed. Mulder, as he kind of comes to and he's starting to realize where he's at and what's happening, immediately he's like, "Where's Scully?" And Byers says to him, "Well, we figure that your 911 call when Scully collapsed got intercepted." And then Frohike says, "Yeah, she had a reaction to this Africanized honeybee that we found nearby in the hallway." Well, Mulder, being Mulder, very stubborn, very one track minded. I gotta find Scully. He tries to get out of bed, and then in comes Skinner. And he's like, whoa, 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 dude, like, hold on. What are you doing? Just tell me where she is. I'll find her. And Mulder's like, I don't know where she is, but I think I can, I know somebody that can help. And Langley's like, well, what can we do? And Mulder says, you can strip Byers naked. And poor Byers, he's so sweet. He's like, what? And he's like, I just need his clothes. So I picked this moment because I think this was a time when we needed a bit of comic relief. As if you're just watching it alone in your home for the first time, you needed that, like that breath to go like, okay, here we are. And then collectively, my memory as an audience watching it in the theater, the laugh that we all kind of that came out of us when Mulder goes, oh God, like we needed that because there's a lot of things happening. Mulder gets shot, Scully gets stung, they almost kissed. There's a lot of emotion going on. And I think it was just perfect timing for these guys to come in and for that comic relief and just to see them on the big screen, see the lone gunman's big debut on the screen. And we had seen Mitch Pileggi earlier in the film, but it was awesome to see him actually interacting with Mulder and the boys. And so I love that scene. And so that made my number 5.
Yeah, I really wanted to pick it, but it just didn't quite make it. But I'm glad you picked it. I think I loved that scene for the reasons you did as well. But mainly it was just them on the big screen. And it was awesome
Yeah.
because it was them just being the classic kind of besties that they are. They're, of course, they're there for Mulder. Of course, they have all the information. Um, and of course, Byers is willing to give his clothes. I'm sure he got maybe talked into it a little bit, but at the end of the
Yeah.
day, Byers knows what's up. He knows that he's always going to help Mulder in any way he can. I love the look that Frohicke and Langley give each other as they close the door when Mulder walks through and he goes away and they close the door. I
Yeah.
was so hoping for a high five or just like a fist pump of something of like, "Yes, we did
Yes.
it." But
The level of satisfaction,
yeah.
of the look of satisfaction, like, "We got them. We got
Yeah.
it. He's outta
Yeah, like,
here." I
but I
love it.
still love the look that they give each other. It's just very, like, professional, like, "Don't crack," but it's
Kinda like,
just like, "Oh, I really wanted them to crack." I really wanted them to be like, "Dude, we fucking rock," you know? And they
yeah,
do,
yeah,
and they do. It's such a great scene, so I'm glad you picked it. Good one.
nice.
Okay, let's move on to my number 4. This is when Mulder gets shot.
Okay, not on my list.
Interesting. All right. So you're thinking Scully's getting saved. The paramedics come with their ambulance. They got it covered. They kind of just leave Mulder in the dust, though. He wants to know what hospital she's going to. He doesn't get an answer, so he goes to the driver to ask the driver. And, well, the driver pulls out a gun and shoots Mulder. Mulder's on the ground. The ambulance leaves. He's bleeding. Thankfully, the real ambulance is on the way. So, the reason I picked this is because I was absolutely shocked when this happened. Like, shocked. I wasn't even invested in the X Files at this point. The movie is basically, I can't remember if I saw a couple episodes at a sleepover I had with my friend, um,
Mhm.
or if I saw the movie first, I cannot remember, but it all happened in that same summer. But I did not see the movie in the movie theater. I had to rent it, at our local
Video store.
video rental place, yeah. And, so I got that and I watched it, but I wasn't invested in the X-Files at all, but, as far as I could tell from this movie, he was, like, the main dude. Mulder and Scully are the main characters, and for some guy to just pull out a gun and shoot him, like, point blank in the face, I was shocked, completely shocked. It jarred me. It still does to this day, honestly. How is he okay after that? And I
Seriously.
I really wonder, like, what the whole fandom felt at that moment because, like I said, I wasn't too invested, but I was scared. I thought he was
Oh,
dead.
for sure.
And,
Yeah, there was
I basically picked this because I didn't see it coming. I was truly stunned.
no, it really is shocking, and like you said, even now that we've seen it so many times, it's still jarring and it still kinda gets to you. But my memory of that moment in the theater with everyone was just like this collective gasp of horror, like, "Oh my gosh." Again, there's a lot of things happening because we were already terrified, "What's going on with Scully? What's happening?"
Totally.
And then to see
Or still
this
still pissed off from not getting that kiss too.
and then still pissed right. So the energy, there was a lot of feels were, like, all over the
Mhm.
place. And then for it to be sort of capped off with this shocking, unexpected moment, it just, like, everybody just lost it. So,
Yeah,
just kinda like I said, just right now, leading up to everything that had happened to the lone gunman and the comic relief that we so needed. But yeah, good pick, dude. It really is, it's really disturbing and, very well executed, very well done. And I remember the first time I saw it, I didn't even pick up on other ambulance coming because I was so freaked out. And then
Mm.
as I watched it again, and I'm like, oh, okay, so here comes the real ambulance. It's not,
Yeah.
the guys that
Yeah.
intercepted. So that it kind of gives me a little bit of relief seeing that. But initially, I was so focused on, oh my god, what the hell just happened,
Yeah.
that I didn't even catch that. So
And
yeah, good pick.
do you know who the guy was that shot him? Have we seen him before?
I don't think so. He
Okay.
kind of reminded me of what was the guy's name? The crew cut man, or what was his
I
name?
wasn't sure if
From,
that was him or not.
but no, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
It
don't think it
wasn't
was.
him. Just a new baddie, just another syndicate goon. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but it's also interesting because when they were putting Scully in the ambulance and Mulder says the bee that stung her might have been carrying a virus. And one of the guys like, "A virus?" And it's like, "Dude, do you know who you work for?" Like, they just picked this
Right.
guy up off the street. Like, if he's a part of this whole team, he wouldn't be questioning that, right?
No,
So
unless, he was just being a very good actor, just kinda playing dumb. Just being, "Oh, what do you mean a virus?" "Oh,"
maybe, but
you know?
the other guy who was there loading the Scully into the ambulance was not playing around. Mulder's trying to talk to him, and he's just talking over him, saying like, "We got an allergic reaction," blah blah blah. He gave no shit. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. All right, Dini, cool. Let's move on to your number. Oh wait, yes, your number 4.
My number 4 is A Swarm of Bees, and this is the escape from the dome. So, as we know, Mulder and Scully, they're investigating what happened in Dallas. Scully had detected this virus, so they're investigating that. And their investigation leads them to this huge cornfield, middle of nowhere. And they find these two structures, like you described earlier, giant Jiffy Pop poppers. Mulder and Scully step inside this dome. They both look amazing here, by the way, just side note. And they're trying to figure out what it is they've come across. It looks like some kind of facility. It's covered top to bottom with ventilation panels, grids, while Scully takes notice of, that the temperature is being regulated. And she figures that maybe they're on top of a larger structure here, part of a ventilation system. And Mulder, meanwhile, he's like, do you hear that? He hears something and he wants to know if Scully can hear it too. And she says, yeah, I hear a humming. Mulder, at this point, Mulder gets on the ground and he puts his ear to one of the grids and he starts to listen. And Scully's like, well, maybe it's just high voltage electricity. Maybe, he says, and then maybe not. And he kind of gets this look on his face. And suddenly one of the panels of the roof opens and there's a slight pause. And Mulder's like, Scully, and our girl knows something is not right because she responds with a very concerned, yeah, like, oh shit, what? And wasting no more damn time, Mulder says, run. So the grids on the ground open up and thousands of bees come flying out. They're covering their heads with their jackets. They're hauling ass out of there. But Mulder's in the lead. Scully's left behind. She can't see. So he turns back, he takes her by the arm, and they head for the door together. And the air from the ceiling fans in the entrance sort of remove whatever bees they had on their clothing, at least as far as we can tell. And aside from being a little shaken and freaked out, they appear to be okay. And Mulder asks Scully if she's been stung, and she says no. And they're able to take a quick breather before something else comes flying at them, which is the black helicopters. Anyway, why did I pick this moment? Why do I love this moment? It's one of the best action sequences of the film. And I loved it because it's not like a gratuitous in the way that a lot of action sequences are in films where, oh, this is the perfect time to cue up that song that's on the soundtrack, or they just want the lead actor to sort of, show off and maybe rip his shirt off and rescue the damsel. And there's none of that here. They're in this together, and it's so well done. It holds up, and this moment leads to so many things that come to directly affect not only the mythology of this series, but their relationship. Because without this, there's no bee sting. There's not a lot of things without this scene. So it was very well executed. I love it. And that was my number 4.
Well, it's also a callback to what we've seen in previous seasons regarding bees. So all of a sudden in the movie, bees are relevant again to the series out of nowhere. We didn't really see it coming. But I will argue, while I do love this scene, I will argue that the helicopter cornfield chase scene is the more superior action scene in this movie. I'm gonna stand by that. I mean, I know you
Yeah,
love
no.
this one, but that is just like, oh my god. And one thing that you didn't talk about was the quietness in the dome, the stillness in the dome, and then all of a sudden you have that panel opening up and it's loud AF, and then you have
Yes,
all of them opening up and it's loud again. But like I just love that sound design in general. Them walking when she's saying, I think we're on top of a larger structure, is just their footsteps on those
yes.
metal plates, and it's brilliant, and the loudness, it's just you're so scared. Is somebody watching them? Are they gonna get caught? They're trapped in this room. I didn't see bees coming whatsoever. I was afraid of human beings at this point, you know?
Right. Somebody rushing in. Yeah.
Yes,
No, I
yes.
mean the brilliance of the sound, of the direction. Horror doesn't have to be just in your face,
Exactly. Yep.
gross or anything like, just those little things of sound and the quiet and the
Mhm.
still. And I love that moment when Mulder says to her, Scully, and she's like, "Yeah, run." And it's just so because you're like, "What? What's happening? What's
Yeah.
going on?" So it's just a
Yeah.
perfect lead into the chase in the cornfield. It goes from, you know, what the hell's happening, scary, to actual horror where they don't know what's happening. These things are chasing them. Are they going to get caught? Are they going to get shot at? We don't know. So it's a perfect, kind of pair of those two scenes, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's move on to my number 3. My number 3 is Mulder gives Scully the vaccine.
All right, not on my list.
Dang. All right. Well, firstly, I wanna acknowledge how massive that ship was and how beautiful it looked. This movie just blows me away each time I watch it. And, this like, you get this feeling, that this is an actual big boy movie, you know? And in every single one of these scenes, they just knock it out of the park, and, that ship, the inside of it, it was just beautiful. But, anywho, so Mulder finds Scully encased in, like, an ice block. She's hooked up into, like, this contraption just like the other people on the ship. Mulder grabs something to break the ice and he's pounding on her face, basically. Luckily, it's not completely frozen, just kind of the outside. And once he breaks it, all the liquids roll out. Scully's standing there, eyes wide open, unresponsive. She's got a massive, like, tube thing coming out from her mouth, clearly feeding her something or taking something out, I don't know. But Mulder gets the vaccine and he gives it to her. Immediately, she blinks and shit comes out of the tube that's in her mouth. And then it sort of like recoils on itself. He
Mhm.
reaches to take it out of her mouth, but the ship like jerks. And we learn that there is a contaminant in the system. And CSM is there and he knows that Mulder has the vaccine. The ship starts waking up. Scully wants to breathe but can't. Mulder pulls the thing out of her mouth. It's like one of those
And it
clown
keeps
things.
going.
It keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. She coughs it up and she's okay, but she does tell him that she is cold. He breaks the ice some more and gets her out. Mind you, she's completely naked, but he finds her some pants and gives her his jacket and carries her out. So This movie is just a maze, a maze, a maze at every corner. The way the ship looked visually, the way you really believed Scully was in severe danger, but still totally believable that she's okay after the vaccine. I mean, come on. Excellent acting on Jillian's part, and man, our beloved Dana Catherine Scully lives to see another day. I think we often talk about how much has happened to Scully, her Dwayne Barry abduction, her getting beat up and captured throughout the whole entire series, her cancer arc, her losing her child, her losing Mulder. Somehow we forget what happened to her in this movie. At least I do. I know I do. I
Yeah.
always forget about it. This is just another layer of trauma that she goes through, and she prevails at the end, and it's just a testament that Scully is just and she's just amazing. I know this is a TV show, but she will always and forever be one of my favorite heroes, and I'm just so glad she was rescued in this moment.
Yeah, it's a great scene. And I remember a friend of mine loving the specific moment when Mulder starts to tap on the ice, right? And to him, it affected him kind of deeply in a way of, oh my gosh, like I have I have so much love for my friends that if I would see them in that situation, that tapping isn't so much like, are you okay? But it's like out of desperation. Like, how can I get you out of there? And I just remember him talking about that moment affecting him. And then we would talk about it a lot because he was like, it really affected me. And it's just a great moment, great visually, everything, the acting, it's fantastic. So I'm glad you
Yeah,
picked it.
Mulder had to tap because he needed to know how thick the ice was. That tap was very informative so that he knew he needed to go get one of those big
Right.
tanks to help him
Right.
really kind of break through it. So, yeah, it's kind of heartbreaking, but at the same time, it's like, it's so, I don't want to say it's unbelievable because I believe it all, but it's just like, well, this dude was just shot. He was in a hospital. He survived, like, a car explosion, basically,
Right.
like,
He got
he's
thrown off
been
his feet. Yeah.
through so much, and he's there, and in this whole I just talked about how massive this ship was. This whole ship is massive, and somehow he finds her and is able to
He
get her
finds her
out of
and then
there. I mean, come on.
right.
That's great.
And then not only was he shot, but he survives this explosion that happened nearby him, but also when he comes sliding down, right? He
Yep.
hits like his ankle and stuff. So Mulder's not in good shape either, but he manages to
Which
do what he
explains
has.
kind of the end of all of it, but yeah, good stuff. All right, let's move on to your number 3.
My number 3, the well manicured man kills his driver and he blows himself up. So after handing over the vaccine and the coordinates to where Scully is, the well manicured man reveals the truth behind this alien virus. It's alien, it's ancient, and it's going to be used against humanity basically when the aliens return to colonize Earth and using people as hosts. The well manicured man says, telling Mulder everything that he just told him, he knows it's going to cost him his life, but he does it for the sake of his own children. After Mulder asks for Kurzweil, I mean, bro is in the trunk. We just assume that that's what happened. The well manicured man put his body in the trunk. The well manicured man doesn't confirm or deny where Kurzweil is, but I think Mulder kind of gets what's going on by his silence. And Mulder just looks disgusted, and he's like, "Look, just get me out of the car." So the driver pulls into this dark alley, and here, this is where well manicured man reveals that he was ordered to kill Kurzweil as I was ordered to kill you, he says. And with that, he shoots the driver right in the head, and blood splatters all over, including on Mulder's face. Trust no one, Mr. Mulder, he says. So then he orders Mulder out of the car. And Mulder, being very Mulder, is like, why? The upholstery is already ruined. But he eventually steps out. And the man warns Mulder that he has precious little time. The vaccine he gave Mulder, the alien colonists have no idea that it exists. And it may hold the power to destroy all their plans of colonization. And he orders Mulder to go find Scully. Orders by gunpoint, by the way, telling Mulder, get the hell out of here, get out of here. Mulder walks away, and we see a little rat running past him. I just love that shot, and I'll get into that in a minute. Well manicured man gets back in the car, and boom, it explodes, knocking Mulder to the ground. Thankfully, he recovers quickly. The vial is still intact, and he runs out of there. Look, I love a good mob film. It's one of my favorite subgenres, which is why I picked this moment. There are a lot of similarities between the Syndicate and like the fictional mob in films, specifically how they deal with informants, like rats who betray their oath. And I just thought that little rat running, was it a shout out to that or an acknowledgement of that? I don't know, but I love it. But basically, Well Manicured Man just betrayed everything that he represented or what he was working for. He's certainly guilty of giving Mulder all this information. He gives him the vaccine. He kills his driver. Now, I don't know how involved his driver is with the Syndicate, but still, he's one of his guys. Zero hesitation, no remorse. He just takes him out. And he knew he was going to die for what he did. So he went out in his own terms. I think so. But as cold-blooded as he was, I think he gets a little bit of redemption here, because had it not been for him, Mulder probably would have never found Scully, because I think CSM and the Syndicate would have made sure that he never found Scully. And I just love the mob movie-esque action and drama we get here. David was excellent. I think the late, great John Neville was perfection. And with this moment, we get another turning point in the mythology and in the series. The death of the Well Manicured Man and the explanation of the origins of the black oil virus. So, excellent scene. That was my number 3.
Why do you think the well manicured man had such a change of heart?
I think with what he said, he knows that, well, when they tell him that the virus is gestated, he's like, well, they're going to make us into just hosts. That's all we're going to be. We're not going to be, because I think they thought that they'd be working side by side and they would, sort of survive this colonization. And he's come to realize, no, they're just going to use us for hosts. And I need this to stop for my, like you said, for my children, for the sake of my children and their children and the future, basically. So I think that's why he had a change of heart, because he seemed very not on board when he first hears this
Right.
information when
Uh,
during that meeting. So
yeah.
he was already like sketchy about everything that was going on. But then he realized, like, I can't let this
Well,
happen.
I guess that's what
You
I'm
know,
getting at is that him saying all of that, I feel like wouldn't have worked if it just happened. But we had a chance to see him at home and watching his grandchildren. He was late to the
Mhm.
meeting because his grandchild fell and broke their arm. Like, we got to see the humanity in him, the actual grandfather-ness, probably the father figure in him in general.
Right.
And I think that if we had not seen that with our own eyes, his words might not have been believable if we just got the car scene, you know what I mean? So I
No,
think they did
absolutely.
a really, really good job of making it believable for the fans to see. I think he was kind of, I don't wanna say the voice of reason the whole entire time, but, like, I don't know if it was his accent or what it was, but you were afraid of him, you knew that he had it in him, but at the same time, like, we got to see him talk to Scully early in the series, and he was very
Yes.
respectful and things like that. He doesn't hold the same, like, ominous presence that someone like CSM does, or even the entire syndicate, actually. He
Absolutely.
So I think he was the perfect one to kinda, like, flip because he might not have all been there to begin with, but at the same time, I feel like he was just I think he was just a little pissed off because he's like, "My tardiness might as well have been absence. You guys already made the decision without
Yeah.
me." So he's like, "Fuck you guys."
Yeah.
He's like,
He was
"Alright,
like a disgruntled employee
yeah,
at this point, right?
exactly,
Like, "Fuck
exactly.
you guys. I'm gonna turn on you guys."
Yes, yes.
But
I think it shows the complexity of that one character, and then it draws even more, like, kind of, question marks is yeah, he did go out on his own terms, like you said, he knew he was gonna be taken out regardless, but I
right,
think I don't know, it's like he knew that they were taking him out. He knew he was going to die at some point. He probably knew it was I mean, at when it happened, he knew it was a car bomb. He knew him getting inside, he was gonna be killing himself, but even still ride around with Mulder in there is a little risky if you ask me, like, I'd be so
yeah,
scared.
see, I always thought that he detonated it. When he once Mulder was
Oh,
safely away.
I thought that the Syndicate planted it in there and it was just gonna happen.
Oh,
And
see,
so, like, he gets in, he gets out, he gets in, boom, and
yeah,
I don't know, I always just thought like, "Oh, it's gonna happen." He knew it was gonna happen because they planted it there. I like that theory though, that he's the one who detonated it, but that means he would have put it there himself? I don't know. Cause the way he says, "Get out of the car," and he points the gun on Mulder, like, "Go now, like, go." He doesn't want Mulder to be a part of this explosion. So maybe it was like a
right.
timer thing, maybe, like, he knew it was gonna happen within the next 20 minutes, and that 20 minutes was almost up, because he wanted Mulder out of that car
Absolutely,
immediately.
absolutely, and I think perhaps the syndicate, um, sent him in this car knowing that this is what's gonna happen at, like you said, at this certain time.
That's what I
'Cause I
think.
don't see him inviting Mulder into the car and then just kinda not having an idea, like a time period, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think he knew this was a feature, and like you said, they sent me to kill Kurzweil like they sent me to kill you. So maybe that was the plan, right? Get Mulder in the car, distract him some way, get the hell out of the car, and then you know where the detonation is, and then boom.
Oh, yeah,
And instead of
no.
using that on Mulder, he did it to himself. Like, he's like,
Yeah, I don't believe that, I think that is a great theory. I don't believe that, I feel like he was like, "They told me to kill Kurzweil, they told me to kill you, um, I know after I do that, they're going to kill me. I know I'm next. They're gonna clean up this mess." Like, he's not a dummy. He knew.
yeah,
So, I just stand firm that he wanted
that they
Mulder
were, like,
out.
watching?
Yeah, I don't think they were watching. I think it was either a time device or it was the amount of times the back door closed, opened and closed type of a
Got
thing.
it.
And he knew, like, I'm gonna close this door and it's gonna explode because they know I'm in here type of a thing. I
Mhm.
think there's a million different ways you could probably look at this scene. I think it's really funny because we can kinda, like, talk about the X-Files, we could talk Mulder and Scully to death, right? This feeling, this emotion, and this happened to that. The fact that we can really dive deep into what happened to the well-manicured man, character that, yes, we all know and know he's a part of the syndicate, but he's not a part of the ship that we're obsessed with, right?
Right,
But he is
right.
still a part of the show that we're obsessed with, and yeah, I would love to sit and talk about his motives and what he knew, and, like, I we could pick this apart for hours, I think, and I would have
Totally.
a great time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
For the
totally. Ooh.
well manicured man, I would have a great time just as I would if we're talking about shippy stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a British gentleman, is well-manicured man, a Beatles fan, a Rolling Stones fan. I don't know. Where
Harry
where where does he
Styles,
sit?
would he have liked Harry Styles in One
Yeah, would he
Direction?
was he into The Clash? Was he like a older punk dude, the Sex Pistols. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fun stuff. All right, Dini, let's move on to my number two. So my number two is Mulder and Scully falling off a spaceship and the embrace at the end, towards the end of the movie.
That was my number 2 as well.
Okay, let's talk about it. So these two, they're crawling out of a hole, out of the ship. Mulder realizes the ground is cracking. He grabs her and runs off, only to look up and see that the ground is collapsing. They run off, running, 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 and we see the ground caving in. They fall right along with it, only then to be sliding off of the top of a spaceship that's leaving Earth. They land in the snow. Mulder sees the whole thing, spaceship and all, kind of just hover over him and kind of fly off into the distance. Scully is still unconscious and doesn't see anything. She's out of it. Understandably, she's been through some shit. He watches it leave, and then in relief, he kind of like rests. She gets up, rolls him over, and holds him. Is it to keep him warm? Is it because she is so grateful he saved her? Is it because she loves him and is happy that they're both alive to pursue their romance? The camera pans out and you could see how massive this ship was and how close they are still to the edge. And it's just like, wow. So this scene just makes me really, really, really happy. I don't know why Scully grabs and holds Mulder. It could be all of the reasons I just said, but whatever it is, it's clearly the right answer. There was no other way for that to end. The embrace is just so good. These two have been through some shit, and hell yeah, they have their moments of holding each other previous to this and after this. But there's something about this one in particular of the sheer exhaustion and the way they just escaped literal aliens, alien getting out of an alien ship, and then the ground caving in from under their feet. Like when you see them leave your screen when they fall, you're just like, what the
I'm
hell?
like, "Oh
They're
my
gone
god."
forever. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Only to be sliding, I mean, it's brilliant, only to be sliding off of the spaceship and then landing, and then just the exhaustion. Scully's exhausted as well, but she's got her man right there, and she's gonna fucking hold him and keep him warm, and I love it so much.
I do too. It's so good. And I'm glad you mentioned like the space, like the vast amount of
Massive.
space when we get that overhead shot and you just see these two little humans, man. They're so tiny in comparison to where they're at. And
Yep,
they're running together, dude, and they're connected and they're fighting to survive and they're trying to get to safety together. It's so good. It's just a testament to their friendship,
yep.
to their relationship, their partnership. And then of course, dude, that the spaceship reveal. It's fantastic. And we get to see Mulder look up and take it all in and wanting desperately for Scully to see it. And
Yep.
the cherry on top, of course, is despite everything and enduring everything that Scully has gone through, she gathers up that energy to hold Mulder in her arms. And like you said, could it be for warmth? I said, was it a sign of gratitude, concern? However you want to interpret it, it's lovely. It's lovely
Yeah.
to see them like that. And it's just well done. Everyone involved, the direction, the effects, the acting, it's top tier.
I love the fact that he just lets her as well. He's not trying to
Yes.
hold her, he's not trying to reach out back to her or anything like that or grab her legs. He's just, like, laying there, exhausted and just letting it happen, and it very much reminded me of Detour, and I
Yes.
cannot wait till when we get to cover Detour. I don't know, there really are no words when you think about it. There's just no words. It's like, how do you I find myself just saying the same old BS over and over of like, "Oh, it's so sweet. Oh, I just love it." It's like I can't even describe it. I don't even know what I love about it. It's not the sweetness, it's not like the desperation, it's not the gratitude. I don't know what it is that I love um about it.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, for me, it's just that the connection that they have, this unbreakable bond of just this friendship and partnership. And it's just like I said, it's a lovely thing to see. And you can interpret it however you want to, but shippers, the way we interpreted it,
Yeah.
it's just it's meaningful. I think it's meaningful however you see the relationship. But if you're a shipper, obviously, it's gonna touch your heart, and you're gonna be very relieved that they made it out. They made it out of there together, and we got to see this moment of just Scully holding him, and him, like you said, allowing her to just sort of resting there, being
She's
vulnerable, and
almost she's
letting.
almost frantic as she's doing it as well. She's just like, Let me get my arms over you." The wind's
Yeah,
blowing on her. It's not only like the sentiment behind it, but it's such a great shot.
it is.
Ugh,
It is.
all right.
Yeah, it's good.
All
Good
right.
stuff.
So that was your number 2. Let's move on to the greatly awaited, much anticipated number 1 scene, which is the same for the both of us, I assume, and that is the hallway scene.
Not on my list. No, I'm just kidding. No, of course. Of course, that's my number 1. I'm gonna let you take it because I feel like you're
Okay.
really good at describing these these scenes with Mulder and Scully. Like, you have a knack for it, so I'm gonna let you describe it.
All right. Let me wet my whistle right quick. All right, Dini, here we go. The hallway scene. All right. Well, Mulder is already in his feels because he had it out with Kurzweil, and Scully walks in disheveled, bruised, battered, tormented. He asks what's wrong. She tells him she's been transferred to Salt Lake City. She's turned in her letter of resignation to Skinner, and Mulder tells her, "You can't quit now, Scully." She said, "I did. It's done." She kind of throws this in there. She didn't even know she wanted to tell him in person. He's like, "We're on the verge of something here." And she tells him that he is on the verge. And then she says, quote, "Please don't do this to me." Just like that, he's on his feet, completely disregarding that last plea. He's like, "After what you saw last night, all you've seen, you can just walk away." She's like, "Yep, I have. I did. It's done." He's pleading with her. He says, "I need you on this, Scully." Emphasis on the need. She tells him that he doesn't need her. He's never needed her. She's just held him back. The look on his face is devastating. She tells him that she has to go. And with that, she's out the door. He hesitates for a second and is like, "Nah, F this. I've got things to say to her." And he follows her out into the hallway. You want to tell yourself that so you can quit with a clear conscience, you can, but you're wrong. She turns and then shoots back that she was assigned to debunk his work, to rein him in, to shut him down. They're toe to toe, facing each other, looking each other square in the eye as they argue, or maybe not argue, discuss. Whatever they're doing it loudly. There are a lot of feelings going on here. Mulder says, "But you saved me." As difficult and as frustrating as it's been sometimes, your goddamn strict rationalism and science have saved me 1,000 times over. She's looking at him almost in shock. He continues. Mind you, he's basically yelling this at her. "You kept me
Yeah.
honest. You made me a whole person. I owe you everything." Then he softens a bit, and she's on the verge of tears. He says, "Scully, and you owe me nothing." My little homie Scully is about to lose it. She exhales a little bit, clearly not knowing how to address everything that he's just unloaded. He tells her that he doesn't know if he wants to do it alone and he doesn't even know if he can. But if he quits now, they win. She just can't respond. They look at each other for a while and she leans in to hug him. She exhales into his shoulder and he wraps his arms around her. They hold each other, their heads facing opposite directions, but they couldn't be any closer if they tried. She breaks the hug, kisses his forehead, and breaks it only to leave them forehead to forehead. They're catching their breath as they continue their embrace. Her hand is behind his neck, and suddenly he breaks to look at her again. This time, his hands are cradling her face. A tear rolls down her cheek, and the look he is giving her is very, very intense. She's trying to crack a smile, but again, so many emotions are happening right now. The eye contact is insane. The second she realizes that he is pulling her closer to him, you can see the panic in her eyes. They get closer and closer and closer, and oh my God, this is going to happen. Their
Yep.
lips nearly touch, but Scully gets stung. He immediately apologizes. Clearly, he's thinking he's crossed the line, and she's like, no, 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 something stung me. She pulls out a bee from under her clothing. Unfortunately, at this point, something is wrong with Scully. Mulder has to lay her down and get help, and the movie continues. Look, I could talk about this scene for hours, days, weeks,
Yeah,
months,
for sure.
years. It is pure perfection. Even though we don't get an actual kiss, I'm okay with it. It carries the tension on for a few more years, but most importantly, season 6, which was just like chef's kiss.
Yep.
But we have Mulder saying you can't uh you can't quit. He needs her. And her saying, "No, I've just held you back. I was hired to shut you down." And then Mulder, he just reveals all. The fact that he says that she saved him, regardless of all the frustrations her science brought on, she kept him honest, made him whole. He owes her everything. He's giving her props. And Scully is just blown away by this. She can't even say anything. The intensity in their looks, the tears forming in her eyes, the forehead kiss, the fact that Mulder is the initiator of this kiss, the
Yeah.
stunned reaction in Scully's eyes, all of it is just perfect. The words, the longing, the tension, the crossing a line, the pacing, the score. I think the only unrealistic thing was that the bee stung really jolted her out of that kiss. Homie was so close to getting something she's been waiting for, wanting for so long, and she couldn't muscle through it. Oh, come on, Scully.
Right. It could have
But
been an alligator chewing at her foot and just been like, I'm not, this is going to happen. Alligator.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Yeah, so I can't praise this scene enough. This is probably my favorite scene of the entire series, this hallway scene. And it's not just because of the almost kiss. I love everything that Mulder says to her, finally, finally. And it's just beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is like, it's the emotional payoff that's been building since the pilot, right? If you're a shipper. Um, and and I think it's the first time that we see, or like where the show doesn't dance around the subtext or anything like that. It just allows Mulder to say what he's feeling honestly. And it just comes to the surface. And they're not just partners, right? They're not just friends. They're like the emotional center of each other's lives at this point. And Mulder basically says what we've, as shippers have known all along, that Scully has saved him. She's grounded him. She's made him a whole person. She's completed him, not to sound, cliche, but it's true. And Scully's reaction sort of confirms um, that she also feels that deeply for him. And like nothing in this exchange is theoretical or implied. It's real. It's vulnerable. It's out there. And it- like you said, it's an iconic moment for shippers because it's not a fantasy, it's not a dream, it's not taken as a joke. There's like this genuine mutual moment where they they want to lean into all this longing and attraction and just closeness and just everything. It all kind of sums up in this one almost kiss. Like the years of professionalism and kind of, fear or denial of how they feel about each other, that doesn't happen here. It's just they're vulnerable. Well, Mulder, like you said, Mulder is the one that initiates this, and she's just stunned, but she doesn't pull away, right? You don't see Scully being like, no, they both wanted
She
this
would
moment to.
never. She
No,
would
I know,
never.
but, for the sake of the film to make, drama, like, oh, have Scully be like, "Oh, Mulder." No, totally. Like they both want this. And I like you said, I'm okay with obviously when the film first came out, we were all pissed that the kiss didn't happen because we were the anticipation, it was amazing. But I agree with you now looking back at it, I'm okay with it because it captures their, like I said, their like in a fucked up way, it's very Mulder and Scully that this would happen. It's almost like the universe is like keeps pushing them together, and then when they try to kind of go forward, something fucked up happens. It's a very Mulder and Scully. I don't think these two would have ever had like this grand, sweeping, romantic kiss on screen. That's just not Mulder and Scully. And as frustrating as that is, it's also very satisfying to see that moment between the two of them. So yeah, that was my number one.
I disagree. I think that their first actual real kiss would have been grand and amazing and all of the things. Of course, we're not going to get to see it, but I think it was there. And I'm not talking about Millennium, like that was just a little peck, but like when they were really going to go at it, I'm guessing that it was pretty hot.
Oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure that that happened off screen, but we would have never gotten that on
No, but
on screen.
I guess what I'm saying is, like you said, it's not Mulder and Scully to do that. I think it is Mulder and Scully to do that. It's not Chris Carter to allow us to see that.
There you go. There you go. Yes.
Now, let's go back
Good point.
to what Mulder said. Like, yes, we all knew what he was saying was true, but I don't think we knew that he knew that. I think that's why I love this hallway scene so much because it's so satisfying. It's this invisible itch that does he really know how much Scully has changed him and changed his life and has been there for him and sacrificed for him? Like,
Yeah.
we know that, but does he know that? And when he reveals all of that, it's like, oh my gosh, it's just so satisfying to hear and to watch. And for her, it is as well. It's a gut punch in the best way. It knocks the wind out of her. She doesn't even know what to do because it's so much um like truth bombing and vulnerability
Yeah.
from him and an
He gets
overshare
it.
from him. Yeah, he gets it and he's gotten it this whole time, Scully. He has. He
Right.
just hasn't said it. And that revelation of, like, all of that hitting her like a ton of bricks, I mean, homie couldn't do nothing. She's just sitting there like, "Oh my god, this is, like, everything that I wanna hear."
Yeah.
And then adding on to the faces getting closer and closer and closer, and she's just like, "Oh my god,
It's happening.
this is a lot," like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. Yeah.
already knocked over by the words that you're saying to me. I'm already knocked over by this embrace. I'm already knocked over because we might not be working together. I just quit. They're splitting us up. to like, holy shit, this is when it's going down, Mulder. This is when, I mean, it's a
Right.
perfect timing. It's perfect
Right.
timing. And the emotions are high, but she's still playing catch up. She's like 15 seconds behind what he's doing. And it's just like, holy crap. And I
Yeah.
love Jillian's acting here. I just love the stunning in her eyes. She's just like, her eyes get big and she's like, "Holy
Totally.
shit. This is
Yeah.
happening. This is happening." And I'm so excited for my girl, but at the same time, I'm just like, I want to know what's going on in her head. You know what I mean?
Totally. That's
It's
so
just
good.
good stuff. It really
Yeah.
is. But yeah, Fight the Future hallway scene, forever my number one. Love it. All right, Dini, let's go on to thoughts. What do you got for story?
I agree with you that the second half is stellar. I love the first half, but the second half brings so much more emotion, more action. We get this hallway scene, we get the rescue scene at the end. Just there's just a lot of stuff happening in the second part, and story wise, it's just great. I love this film, and I'm glad that I'm very grateful for to Chris Carter and to Rob Bowman and everybody involved that gave us this film when they did, because I know there are some series that have tried to go into feature film and it doesn't work out very well. It doesn't, it doesn't resonate with audiences. And the thing that I love about this story is that it works for fans that are diehard fans, and it also worked for people who had maybe never seen the X Files. It's still a fucking kick ass story, kick
Yep.
ass movie, and yeah. So that's what I got on story.
Completely agree. I said it before, I'll say it again. This movie is perfection. It's suspenseful, it's revealing, it's character shifting, it's got twists, it's got turns, romance, a level of sexiness that I cannot put into words. This movie will forever be one of my favorite movies of all time. I know it must have been a complete bitch filming the show, filming the movie, filming the show, and it probably broke a lot of people, and I feel that. But anyone who had anything to do with this movie, your hard work is recognized. This movie is not only magnificent, it defines a series and characters and the fandom, and it is the peak of the X-Files for me.
Nice, well deserved for sure.
All right, let's move on to monsters, bad guys. I'll just get into what I have really quickly. It's not much. Aliens are always a win for me. They're familiar, they're strong, they're scary. 10 out of 10 bad guys. Now, the Syndicate, I like that they were included in the movie. It added a lot more context, and I watched this not knowing anything. And at the time, I felt they were in it too much when I first saw this movie. Like, those old guys are in this too much. But honestly,
Yeah,
we got just the right amount. In hindsight, as a fan looking at it, they were needed and they got just the right amount of time, including all the scenes with the well manicured man. Um, they too will always be 10 out of 10 bad guys for me. The other bad guy, the bee, the fucking bee, 1 out of 10 bad guy. What a little asshole.
you, you fucker.
Fucker.
Yeah, just like Syndicate, just ruthless, just unapologetically cruel. You mentioned it earlier with when well manicured man came in and said, "Sorry, I'm late. My grandson fell down," and not one fucker said, "Oh shit, sorry to hear that." I mean, even in films with like I said, like I love mob films, and even scenes where like these guys are ruthless, like they're all about family, right? So if somebody walked
Yep.
in and, hey man, sorry I'm late, my son broke. Oh shit, is he okay? What happened? Oh, he's gonna be all right. We're gonna send him some we're gonna send him something in the whatever to make him feel better, whatever. But these, I mean, just and just ruthless. It's
Yeah.
awful. um
Yeah.
I also included CSM, even though I didn't I didn't mention any scenes that he was in, but you know, he's just a bastard as always. And then maybe I'm kind of bringing the conversation down, not bringing it down, but look, I can't help myself knowing now what he did to Scully in, or what's implied that he did to Scully in, what is it, Enemy? When they put Scully in the plane and she's in that pod and they left her alone with him in the dark in that plane. Like, did he do anything to her in that plane? That was like the first thing that came to my mind on this rewatch. And made me hate him even more. So shout out to William B. Davis. He's brilliant. We talked about Well Manicured Man. Even though I do include him in the bad guys, he does have the redemption arc and you know all that. And the aliens just terrifying. The screeches they were making in the ship when they were trying to
Yep.
get out of the pods. Oh, holy shit! Holy shit! So yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah. Good shit. Good shit. Mulder. What do you got on Mulder?
Well, I think Mulder really goes through it in the second part of the film, emotionally, physically, and I think same for Scully. I got the same thing for Scully. They
I do
go
too.
through the
Yeah.
freaking ringer.
Yeah.
But even in their most vulnerable moments, these characters give us like this validation for why we love them so much. And yes, they're flawed and they're not perfect and all that. You can argue all that. But there's this validation of this is why we love Mulder. This is why we love Scully. This is why we love Mulder and Scully. And that's what I have on basically the Mulder and Scully.
Yeah, I think that Mulder and Scully are movie stars, and I think that David and Jillian are movie stars. And we do know this, but at the time when this came out, it was just TV stars who have a movie. But they really did prove themselves in this. First of all, they look incredible. First of all,
For sure.
man, the hair is popping, the makeup's
Peak
popping,
Mulder
the
and Scully.
clothes are popping, and then you add all of the characterizations that they go through, not only with each other, but I don't know, I go back to just the small details, like when Scully's late for her meeting and she's looking at the reflection in one of the frames on the wall trying to fix her hair and shit. I love it. She looks so good. This is like a fucking it's almost like behind the scenes X-Files type of a thing. Um,
Yeah,
Mulder, like you mentioned earlier, when he's falling down, in the spaceship, hitting his thigh and, like, catching onto a ledge, and he's switching hands, and he's looking down, his flashlight's falling, and you can see how far it falls. He's an action star, he's a movie star, this is brilliant. I love seeing, like, all these little tiny details of Mulder and Scully. Um
for sure.
We've come a long way, like, Mulder was able to hang on for dear life and get to safety there, but, like, even in season 3, when he jumps on the train and loses his phone and he's just falling flat, it's like, "Okay, homie's come a long way. He's come a
He
long way.
totally
He can,
has.
like, hang by one hand, Tom Cruise style here." So,
Yeah,
I just love what they did with Mulder and Scully, just, physically by their looks and by the little detail, but going more in depth to what this movie did for their characters and their romance, we can just jump into, their relationship. It moved mountains, like it really did. The tension that we have had up until this point, it got it got switched to, like, another track, another level,
for sure.
because all we're thinking about is Mulder's words, the care and love that he had to go find her, went to the ends of the earth to find her after being shot. It's like a pivotal turning point in their ship, in
For
a way,
sure.
in their partnership,
Absolutely.
but also in their romance. Like I said, season 6 is full of this tension, right, that we see, and,
Yep.
unfortunately, we don't really get a super duper payoff. I think Scully mentions it in the very first episode, like, he says or she said something, "You told me I made you a whole person," or whatever. She, like, repeats it to him.
Yeah.
But it's never really brought up again, and I really wish, like, we coulda had, like, one of those vulnerable moments. I've been there in my, like, 40 plus years where something has almost happened with somebody, and 5 years down the road when we're drinking, having a good time, not thinking about anything, "Hey, remember that time?" Like, "Yeah, I remember that time. Why are
Yeah.
you bringing this shit
Yeah.
up?" It's awkward, it's crazy. It's like "Oh god, we're gonna get into this now after we're, like, 3 or 4 drinks in." Like, we never got that moment from them, you know? It's such an
Right.
awkward, normal thing that I think a lot of people go through because you don't know how to bring it up, but,
Mhm.
it does get brought up eventually, and for them, it really didn't, and that's kinda
No.
disappointing. But that being said is, like, we know that I think we talked about it before of how, like, Scully it feels like she's the one who's doing all the pining, right? She's
Mhm.
longing for him. We don't really see that from him, but he's the one who initiated everything. So it's like, oh, it was there this whole time,
This
or
whole
else he
time.
wouldn't have, right?
Right.
Oh,
Right.
it's just great. So
Yeah. It's
I
so
think
good.
in short, the relationship is fucking 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100. Like they are locked in with each other in this movie,
Absolutely.
in their partnership and moving forward in the romance, everything. They are so locked in and it's wonderful.
For sure. And it confirms what, we pretty much all suspected and we wanted to see happen. We didn't get the big payoff kiss, but
Yeah.
like you said, Mulder initiates, it's there. It's in him. He wants to. She wants to. It's there. And then we go on to, like you said, season 6, 7, 8, and it keeps going, going. And their relationship evolves from there. And like you said,
Yeah.
it's just like it's a pivotal moment in the series, in their relationship. And it's just fucking great.
Well, it does make you wonder of like, okay, if we say that all things is the first time anything happened, maybe this hallway scene did come up that night, and maybe that's what started taking it to the next
Oh,
level. We don't know what happened. She falls asleep right there, but they could have talked some more. He could have said, "Hey, remember that night you got stung by the bee? What would have happened if you didn't get stung by the
right.
bee?" And she's like, "I'll show you." And boom.
Exactly. Exactly. And they're there at the apartment, sort of, like they're there where the moment we're
Yep.
just right out or right inside from where this could
Yep.
have happened.
Yep.
And I like that theory. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. All right, Dini, this is gonna be a really tough question, but who won this episode? Or who won this movie for you, I should say?
I'm gonna go with what I believe I said in part one. They're gonna have to share my dozen of tamales, David and Jillian. David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson. I mean, yes, the Mark Snow killed it with the soundtrack. Rob Bowman killed it with the direction. Chris Carter, everyone involved, from wardrobe to sound to lighting to effects, everything. But David and Jillian, man, I mean, it's just forever in my heart and in my memory, and just like seeing the both of them on the big screen in this film, and they were so freaking good. They showed up, they showed out for this movie,
Yep.
and they got my dozen of tamales, my pick.
Okay, so I don't remember us doing who won in the first half.
Oh, I thought we did.
We might
Hmm.
have. Do you remember who won for me? Because I don't.
I
I
don't.
don't remember.
I don't remember, but
No,
I
it's
can look
not in my
back on my notes.
notes.
But
No, it's fine.
yeah.
Um, well, so I today, this is how I'm feeling. Chris Carter gets my dozen tamales. I
Nice.
love this movie so much, and I think he might have to share we'll give Rob Bowman a bite. I still don't want him to have much of anything from that, comment in Trevor that he made, but I do wanna acknowledge him, like, this movie would not have been as great as it was without Rob Bowman and his immense talent. So, like, a part of me wants to give it to Chris Carter and Rob Bowman to split, but I think you're right about David and Julia, like, this was their time to shine, this was Mulder and Scully's time to shine, and did they ever? They did, and it's really hard for me, but I'm gonna have to stick by this, and I think Chris Carter gets my dozen tamales. It's a hard
Oh,
choice to
yeah.
make, though, but yeah, Chris Carter gets my
Yeah, but
dozen
it's a good
tamales.
one. I mean, David and Jillian, like, showed up and did their thing, but without Chris Carter, he wrote it. You know what I'm saying?
So
So,
good, so good.
yeah. Yeah.
Alright, quick mentions, do you have any? I actually don't have any.
I think one of my quick mentions was when I was talking about Scully being put in that airplane with CSM, and
Yeah,
that
that's crazy, I don't even wanna
came
think
to
about
mind. It
that.
just gave me the
Yeah.
freaking creeps. Um, I mean, Mulder in his black T-shirt in the hallway scene. I mean,
So yeah, yeah, I think it's gray, but
oh, it's
I
great. Okay.
completely agree with you. One thing I do wanna mention is when they're going into the B domes and that fan co or actually right before the fan comes on, when the door opens and kinda the air is blowing, it's blowing in
And it moves his
Mulder's
tie.
hair and in his tie, and that is one of my favorite David Duchovny shots. He looks perfection in that, and he, like, kinda does this thing with his head as he's walking through looking around, and I'm like, "Oh my god." It's
Yeah.
that scene in Fight the Future and the scene in Detour when he says, "I'll come back and we'll make a pile of furniture," or whatever, and he's like, "'Kay," and
Yeah.
he smiles and he walks out. Oh, my 2 favorite David Duchovny, like,
Yeah.
oh my god, heart eyes,
For sure.
thump, 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 yeah,
Yes.
love it.
A million times, yes. That was wallpaper material back in the
Yes,
day.
indeed,
Try to
yes,
get a shitty screenshot and put it on
exactly,
your wallpaper. Yeah.
totally. The other thing I kinda really wanna mention is, oh, I just had it, what was it? Oh, is, the behind the scenes that came out in the DVD. I watched that thing left and right. It's so good. I love that they did that. I love that it was a making of X-Files: Fight the Future. So much goodness back in the day, and I'm sure there's, like, a ton more unseen footage that we haven't gotten, and will we ever one day? I don't know.
I would love that. Maybe on the 30th, right? Because 'Cause we're coming up on it.
Maybe, maybe.
That'd be amazing.
But I also cannot wait for, like, a tell-all book of the whole X-Files series in general. Who's gonna write that, you know?
Oh, man.
It's gonna be so good. But, alright, Deanie, do you wanna go over some trivia?
Yes, let me I'm a little out of practice here, so I don't have it queued up. So give me 1 second here.
I got it right here.
So I'll start. Chris Carter originally wanted to end the television series after the 5th season and continue the show's mythology with a series of films beginning with this one. The Fox network, however, saw the series as too profitable and forced Carter to write this film as a tie-in between 2 seasons of the show, a task which he found very daunting. I can't imagine. Holy shit.
After consuming much alcohol and finding the bar's bathroom locked, Mulder relieves himself on a movie poster for Independence Day 1996. A line in Independence Day, spoken just after the first shot of the cable station, is, "Yeah, I love the X Files too. I hope I get to see it." However, the feeling wasn't mutual. Chris Carter loathed ID4 and had Mulder piss all over the film's poster to express his disdain for it. I don't remember that line.
I don't either.
Interesting.
Interesting. I
Maybe
gotta
it
go
got
back
cut.
and check it out. Glenn Headley was a huge fan of the show and readily accepted the tiny role of a bartender just to be involved. The late, great Glenn Headley.
She died?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
Um,
sad. Gillian Anderson wore a rubber covering in the scene where Scully is naked and frozen in the alien incubation cryopod.
this is the second time in which David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson kiss on the lips in outtakes. Both of them in a hallway. What contributed to make the hallways mythological places in the X-Files. The first time was Memento Mori in 1997, and the kiss was deleted because the producers didn't want that Mulder and Scully kissed for the first time because she had cancer. On this occasion, Duchovny and Anderson kiss at least twice. In one of them, Gillian Anderson crashes Duchovny into the wall, and in the other, he disappears, taking her away, which we all have seen a million
We've all
times.
seen a million times. There was a YouTube video, I don't know if it still exists, but it was called like The Endless Kiss or something. And it was like 2 minutes of like the hallway kiss, David and Julian when they actually did it. And it would just like loop and fade into each other. And it was so good. And I remember looking for it like maybe, I don't know, few months ago, and I couldn't find it, but it was so good, Dini. You would have
Oh
loved
my
it.
gosh. Nice.
All right,
Nice.
Terry O'Quinn, who plays SAC Darius Michaud, dies in the bomb sequence at the beginning of the movie, yet returns in season 9 as the Shadow Man in Trust No One, only to die again in the magnetite quarry. And then he also played Lieutenant Brian Tillman in Aubrey. He's a douchebag in all three of
Totally.
those. But Terry
Mm-hmm.
O'Quinn, phenomenal actor. I loved him in the TV show Lost, and he will always be John Locke to me. Incredible, incredible actor.
For sure. For sure. I can't wait till we pull Aubrey. That's one of my
Oh,
favorites.
me too. I love it.
There is another scene in the second movie of The X-Files in which Scully can't sleep. Both scenes are placed in the same minute of the movie, and even though circumstances are different in both of them, Mulder and Scully go to investigate rather than sleep.
True. When Scully arrives in Texas while Mulder was speaking with the FBI regarding the bombing evidence, Scully tells Mulder she saw a protein code she has never seen before. If she was awoken at 3 a.m. to go with Mulder to Bethesda Naval Hospital to take a sample, she would not have had time to decode an unknown protein.
Oh,
Okay.
that's very nitpicky.
Yeah, very, very nitpicky. All
Yes,
right,
yes.
Dini. Well, we covered Fight the Future. Are you ready to see what we're gonna cover next? Oh my goodness.
I I am. I am. It's been so long that we've picked something. I feel like it's been forever.
Any hopes,
Yes.
dreams?
Oh,
All right, I'm not
well,
looking.
Aubrey, something season 4, something funny.
All
I
right,
always say that.
I got one in my hands. One. Is this one? Yes. Got one in my hands. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm so scared. Yeah, it's been a
The first
while.
one.
All right. Here we go.
Okay. Please let it be something good. Please let it be something good.
Oh, okay. Uh
I can't see. It's blurry.
all right. All right,
Go ahead.
Dini, we're going back to the early seasons. Season 1, I believe, maybe season 2, but I think it might be 1. This is an
Okay.
episode called Sleepless.
Oh, okay.
Season 1?
Sleepless is do, 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 do. Yes, season 2, episode 4. Yeah, Sleepless. We get the introduction to Alex Krycek.
Is that his introduction?
Yeah. Mulder reluctantly accepts a new partner, Agent Alex Krycek, and they investigate the deaths of several Green Beret soldiers who participated in a sleep deprivation experiment during the Vietnam War.
This one is directed by Rob Bowman again, so 2 Rob Bowmans, in a row, and then written by Howard Gordon, and this is indeed, season 2, episode 4.
All right.
It's gonna be
Right on.
interesting. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Look, I'm just happy to be podcasting again and going
Oh,
through
yeah.
these episodes again, so we'll make it happen, Dini. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. That was Fight the Future Part 2. Again, if you haven't listened to Part 1, go back and give it a listen. And yeah, our first movie that we covered, and it's been very, very exciting. On a side note, we'd like to apologize for kind of being MIA for a little bit. A lot of things have been happening, but uh, the most recent thing is that I've been really sick for some reason. I got really sick. You might be able to tell, like, my voice is still not 100% back. Um, but I want to get back into this podcast. Dini wants to get back into it. We're very committed. Don't think we're going anywhere, giving up or anything like that. We still want to do this. It's just a matter of finding the time.
Finding the
Again,
time and going through, various things, but um, we're good, and hopefully, we can get back to, semi-regular schedule and do this, and it's always fun for us, and hopefully you guys are still listening to us, and yeah.
yeah, I think one of the major issues that I've come across is the fact that we've changed the way that we record. So it's a whole new process that I'm not necessarily an expert on. Our old process, I could set up, do it without, hesitation. I could pretty much do it in my sleep. This new process takes a lot more time, and it's because we've added video podcasting into the mix. So there's gonna be a little bit of growing pains, but we will get there. That being said, again, thank you so much for listening. If you wanna send us an email, you can send us an email to the X-Files chatroom podcast at gmail.com. You can also reach out to us on Blue Sky, Instagram, and what's the other one? TikTok at
Yep.
TXF Chat Room Pod. And with that, we will see you in the next episode with Sleepless.
Yep. Bye, everybody.
Bye
Thank you.
bye.